Hello and welcome to Lacey High School as we bring you the Channel 8 Game of the Week. And today we match up Lacey High School against Monsignor Donovan. And it's a contest that's really going to let us know which direction these teams are going to head. Lacey is 1-2 on the year. Donovan is 2-1. Good evening, everyone. I'm Steve McCullum. Alongside me today are George Jeck and Ron Emmert, who is making his 1987 debut with us here at Adelphia Cable. And Ron, you talked to Lou Versillo during the week. Why don't you fill us in a little bit on the Lacey Lions?
You know, they're both coming off of tough losses, league losses. And talking to Lou over the Thursday after they finished their game plan, he felt as though he had to stop Tony Nessler in the running game of Monsignor Donovan. Felt as though he himself had to establish a little bit of pressure on the corner by his quarterback, who this will be Tim O'Rourke. He started last week after playing 2 games at halfback. And I think he would like to really get the ball off tackle on offense, and his defense is very stingy. And I think what you'll see now is 2 teams with pretty good defenses, and I think the team that possibly has maybe the better kicking game, which Lou feels as though he does, might come out on top.
Now, how about Lacey with some of their injuries? Their number 1 two-way lineman, Bob Wright, is out. An impressive and promising running back, Keith Elias, is out. How is Lacey going to adjust to that?
Well, besides those 2, Lou says he's pretty healthy. And I think what you'll find is maybe he even has more depth at running back than a lot of people anticipate. I know that's probably, if you looked at the depth chart of both teams, Lacey would definitely have more. Now, he's gotten some boys back from eligibility problems, and I think he'll be pretty much at full strength. Again, of course, without Elias and Wright, he'll be hurting. But I think if you look at the depth of both teams, I think Lacey will have the advantage.
Okay, thanks a lot, Ron. Now we're going to switch it over to the Monsignor Donovan side. And with that, we turn to George Jeck. George, you spoke to Donovan coach Bob Musari over the week. How about the Griffins?
Well, the Griffins feel that they can run at Lacey Township. They're going to try to overpower them up front, control the football. They have a fine running back, as Ron said, and Tony Nessler. And he's going to carry the football a lot. Defensively, they use a 4-4. They like to stunt. Their 2 inside linebackers, Brian O'Connor and Tom Harmon, have to have big games to stop the Delaware wing T of Lacey Township. And I don't know. I think the Griffins are a fine football team. I think they're underrated. So, you know, I'm going to pick the Griffins.
They've got a lot of nice size on this team.
They do. They do, and they're aggressive, and their kids had a good week of practice, according to their coaches.
And there's a preliminaries right there. Lacey Township, Monsignor Donovan. We'll be back with the opening kickoff after this. Well, the Lions won the opening toss. They have elected to receive. Monsignor Donovan will kick off. And it is homecoming here at Lacey Township. You fellas as coaches, does homecoming mean anything special? Is there anything extra to win for the homecoming fans?
I think the special thing about homecoming, at least in my opinion, is the kids that have played for you that come back, the people that you see that have graduated that come back to the stadium. It's kind of nostalgic.
I think what a lot of coaches do is they try to look over their schedule so that the team they play is very competitive. I don't think they want to get a game that is going to be either under or overmatched, just so the alumni can see them at their best.
There's Coach Lou Versillo of the Lacey Lions. His team will receive. What do you think Lacey's really going to try to do offensively, their game plan? They want to try and hold on to the ball, I would guess?
Well, what they want to do with O'Rourke at quarterback is to put pressure on the corner with him in a run-pass situation, get the ball off tackle running the ball, and throw a lot of play action. That's at least their game plan going in on offense.
Okay, we're getting ready to kick off here. Quarterback Tim O'Rourke, the deep man for Lacey. He is flanked by number 33, Mike Latinen, and number 46 for Lacey, that is Brian McKay.
No, against Toms River North, Steve, O'Rourke returned one of the kickoffs for a touchdown. He's got a lot of speed.
He certainly has. One of the fastest kids in the county, too. An excellent track athlete.
He might be a sprint champion, if I'm not mistaken.
Joe DeVito kicking off for Donovan, coming down to Latinen at about the 8-yard line. Latinen shrugs off one tackler and he's wrestled down, hit there first by number 58 for the Griffins. That is Tom Brown. Lacey will start out Looks like the ball's on the 24, 25 yard line, I think, George.
3-yard line or so.
But Lacey comes out offensively. Tim O'Rourke is the quarterback. The fullback, number 40, Brett Deptula. The halfback, number 46, Brian McKay. And we'll run down the offensive line and the receivers after the first play. First play, they give it to McKay. McKay doesn't get much. The first player there for Monsignor Donovan was number 50, Charlie Robato. Quickly to run down the offense for Lacey. The split end is number 43, Sean Giordano. The tight end, number 86, Carl Tarracone. The line, Lou Copio's the left tackle. He's flanked by Rob Duffy. The center, T.J. Glyden. The right guard, number 77, Scott Stevens. And the right tackle, Jeff Yurkevich. Make it 2nd and 11 for the Lions. They give it to the first man through. That's Brett Deptula. He got 5-6 yards on that play.
If they can run the ball at 2 linebackers for Monsignor Donovan, they're going to have a good day on the ground.
Looked like that first play that they ran was right at the strength of Donovan's defense. Those big tackles defensively are going to be hard to run against.
Donovan has some big players. 3rd down and 5 from the 30 for Lacey. Fake it to Windiger. O'Rourke throwing downfield for Tarracone, and he has him.
Great catch.
Down on the Donovan 41. But there's a flag on the play. And that's back in the area where O'Rourke threw the ball. Could be, well, there's a signal. It is motion against Lacey. So that big play is going to come back.
You know, Steve, it looked like on that play that O'Rourke could have probably kept the ball and picked up the yardage, but he did a nice job of throwing the ball with a little bit of touch, and it shows the experience of a quarterback who's been there for a while.
I was just going to say, an inexperienced quarterback may have just tucked the ball under and took off, but he went for the bigger play, which of course is coming back with that penalty. He's going to make it 3rd down and 10 for Lacey.
This offense, George, you know, Delaware wing too, with a lot of motion. That seems to create some problems occasionally when they seem to leave too early or too late as far as the officials calling motion.
Yeah, one of the things that can happen to you is just what happened to Lacey with the motion and its movement too soon.
3rd down, make it 10 for Lacey. O'Rourke looking to throw once again. Left-handed quarterback, fires downfield, and it is broken up there by number 22, Tony Nessler for Monsignor Donovan. So I'll bring up 4th down. I'll tell you, O'Rourke did have Steve Strack behind Nessler.
Yeah, he did.
Flag on the play as Donovan kicks. And is fumbled by Donovan. Luckily, it bounced right up into the arms of number 24, Brian Ventrello. He recovered it, but there is a flag on this play. And Ventrello limping a little bit as he comes off the ground in that one.
Looks like it's coming back, Steve.
Well, the referee's doing some talking with the Lacey side.
Referees seem to do a great job at disrupting the flow of the game at times.
They seem to be counting the players. I think they think there's an extra man on the playing field.
Well, Windiger's giving the signal of Lacey to his sideline that it might be on Lacey. And there you see it, it's motion on Lacey.
They're going to do it over, Steve, nullifying penalties. I believe Monsignor Donovan had 12 men on the field, and Lacey was a legal procedure.
Okay. Back for Donovan, number 24, Brian Ventrella. He's the deep man. O'Rourke, who's the quarterback, also doubles as the punter. And there's a good kick. Ventrella fields it at the 45, and Murphy is there to knock him down. Doesn't get much. Maybe a yard on the return. Pat Murphy with the tackle there.
Monsignor Donovan's going to try to control the football and run right at the Lacey Lions, according to Coach Masseri.
Well, that was almost a replay of the nice Lacey coverage on the punt. So as it stands right now, Donovan comes out 1st and 10 on their own. I'll make it the 43-yard line. And it's Mike Nagy, the quarterback, taken down by number 86, Carl Tarracone. There's a loss of a couple. Looks like a 3-yard loss, 4-yard loss.
Looked like they were attempting to run the wishbone. They're going without a huddle.
Well, Donovan will come out in a lot of formations. Mix up on the handoff, fumble, and pile up another. Donovan having some problems so far in the early going. The first 2 plays, they fumble the snap there between Mike Nagy and Nessler. The exchange, not the snap. But luckily for the Griffins, they recover.
Sometimes a hurry-up offense can throw your own team off a lot of times because the snap count's not there, the timing's not there.
Yeah, if you can get an advantage by doing it, fine. But if it's going to upset your own team, Ron, I think you should put it to bed.
Yeah, you're right.
3rd down, about 13 yards for the Griffins. Mike Nagy, the quarterback, throwing downfield for Tony Nessler. Incomplete pass. They'll have to kick. Not an inspiring offensive series for Donovan as they start out the ball game.
When I talked to Coach Masseri during the week, he was telling me that he was going to try and overpower the Lacey Lions, and the wishbone is a surprise to me. He didn't mention wishbone. He did mention wide open offense, a lot of motion, different sets, but not the wishbone.
The punter for Monsignor Donovan, number 82, Rob Mazza. Tim O'Rourke back for Lacey. Good kick. Good booming kick. And it gets a nice roll for the Griffins. Goes out of bounds at about the 25-yard line where Lacey's going to start out 1st and 10.
I mean, everywhere you look, Tim O'Rourke is back on kickoff returns. He's back on punt returns. He punts the ball. He's a quarterback. He was a running back.
He's a fine football player. I had the pleasure of working with him this summer in some quarterback coach type of situations, and he's a very coachable young man, and he's a very much an athlete, and quite a credit to his dad, who used to be a coach, and to Lacey.
Well, Lacey's going to have the ball 1st and 10 on their own 20. And they give it to Deptula. Deptula, nice run. He broke about 4 or 5 tackles, gets 12 yards and the 1st down. Nice, strong run.
That's what Lou Versilla said he wanted to do, is run the ball off tackle. And I think off of that will come his play action and his bootlegs.
We were talking about Tim O'Rourke, the quarterback. It's been not a quarterback controversy, but Brian Zipley was the quarterback for the first 2 weeks for Lacey, and now it's the 2nd week that Tim O'Rourke has been the quarterback, and he was the QB last year. You think that could throw off an offense a little bit, having the quarterback situation like that?
I think so, a little bit, but I think what Tim offers is maybe a little bit more of the running game with that outside speed.
Carrying the ball again is Brett Deptula. Picked up around 2 yards. A little bit more than that, make it 4 yards, 2nd down and 6.
It almost looks like a veer technique to me, Ron.
Starting
inside the guard and sliding it outside.
Against that split 6, if you split that tight end out, run off tackle, you almost don't even have to block him. And that's what they're trying to do right now, is run off tackle, just straight dives.
Well, we have an equipment timeout here for Donovan as Chris Spakowski trots to the sideline, and number 24 comes in. That is Brian Ventrell. 2nd down, 6 for Lacey. Brian McKay, number 46, in the backfield with Brett Deptula. They give it to Deptula again. Got a nice blocks there on the left side of the line by Rob Duffy, and Lou Copio opened it up for him.
Well, it looks like to me, George, they're using that what is called sometimes a come-around block, where they'll block down with the tackle and come around with the guard on the linebacker against a split look, and they're really getting a lot of money out of that.
Right.
3rd down, a yard for Lacey. Windecker in motion. They give it to Brian McKay, and a nice tackle there by Charlie Robato. Hit him for a loss. Big play by Donovan on defense there.
One of the advantages of a 4-4 with the stunt and the gap control is if you can penetrate in the backfield, those kind of delayed plays usually don't work too well against the 4-4 defense.
The Donovan defense rises to the occasion, forces Lacey to punt, and they put a nice rush on. Comes down to Frank Conrad at 36. He picked up 5 yards on that return. Hit by number 61, Rob Duffy, along with number 12, Brian Zippoli. Didn't get a chance to run down that Donovan offense for you. Quarterback's Mike Nagy. The backfield, you have number 44, Brian O'Connor, number 22, Tony Nessler, and the wingbacks, number 30, Tommy Harmon. The offensive line, Charlie Robato's the center, Kevin Gain, the right guard, John Sullivan, the right tackle, Keith Murphy, the left guard, Joe DeVito, the left tackle, Frank Conrad is the tight end, Matt Ayers, number 40, is the split end, and he's split wide to us right here. Stacked eye for Donovan, 1st and 10 on the 42. They give it to Nessler. Nessler picks up a yard. Donovan coach Bob Musari said he wanted to grind the ball out during the week. He wanted to control the balls. He found out what Shore did to him last week. They held on to the ball. They had 62 plays to Donovan's 27 in that 14-0 shutout last week.
He claims that they had some injuries last week. He felt his team played a good ball game, all things being considered.
Right. And Lacey has a very tough defense. Lou Fersillo high on him. They says they are a very good reaction unit. Pitch out to Nessler. Nessler has some room. Nessler over the 45, down to the 47, maybe the 48. 3rd down, looks like 3. Ron, that's the thing. That's been Lacey's problem this year, has really been execution on offense. But defensively, when it comes to just pure reaction, Lacey's been doing that quite well.
Lou says that, Coach Versillo says that physically this team has to be one of the best he's had in 7 years here. It's just the mental mistakes, a few silly penalties, but they're very, very sound, and he likes the chemistry and he likes this group.
The Lacey D face here trying to stop Donovan. 3rd down, make it a long 4. Nagy, quick pass to Conrad over the middle. The pop pass to the tight end. He breaks a couple of tackles, and he's deep in Lacey territory. He's down near the 27-yard line. No flags on the play. 1st down for Donovan.
That's a nice football play. I think the quick pop pass, jump pass. I know Ron used it at Southern. I used it when I was at Easton. I know Brick Township has a jump pass. Very effective play. Nice catch. Nice execution.
And he knows what to do with that football once he catches it. 1st and 10 at the 28 for the Griffins. Handed off to Nessler. Nessler down to the 25. Donovan liked to get on that scoreboard. They were shut out last week against Shore Regional after scoring, 52 points in their first 2 ball games, shut out last week. Second down and 8 for Donovan. Nagy hands off to Nessler. He's been carrying most of the bulk of the load right here.
That looked like a little misdirection, running the same basic action they ran before and then trying to cut it back to get the defense flowing in one direction and try to get to the back going in the opposite direction.
Probably trying to key the nose guard on the center, see which side he goes, and maybe go the other way.
3rd down and 6 for Donovan. They're at the Lacey 24. 3:50 and counting here in the first quarter. We're scoreless. Nagy looking to pass. Over the middle. He has Brian O'Connor. He's got the 1st down. And he is inside the 10, down near the 6.
Nagy
no, make that the 11.
Nagy had some pressure. He had a little pressure on him. He had a little heat coming, and he just waited, and he popped that ball at the right time.
Number 34 for Lacey, Chris Ferrule, the inside linebacker, gave the pressure. But Nagy hit Brian O'Connor for the 1st down, and they're at the 11. 1st and 10 for Donovan. Nagy gives it to Nessler, and there's some more of that misdirection we were talking about a few plays earlier.
Yeah, it's like a cross buck. Like Ron said, you fake the one fella, hoping the defense and the nose guard moves, and give it to the other fella, come back the other way.
I tell you, they're mixing it up. They started out in their first series with a lot of unorthodox kind of formations, and now they're down to basics, and they're moving the ball a lot better.
And now this is where it's going to get tough for Donovan, because the inside of Lacey, you look at their tackles, Scott Stevens is 220, Pat LeRay's 293, Chris Liberto, the nose guard's 210, so there's a lot of beef inside. That's Tommy Harmon, who was just in motion. They give it to Nessler again. Tries to get off tackle. He's down near the 6-yard line. 3rd down for Donovan.
shifted to kind of like a power I situation and tried to power up in there.
I'll tell you, Bob Musari has a lot of confidence in Tony Nessler. He's a 3-year starter for him. Says he's just probably one of the best athletes on the team. Split wide left, number 40, Matt Ayers inside of him, number 30, Tom Harmon. Nagy rolling to his left, dumps it over to Nessler. It was incomplete, and a late hit on Lacey. Number 66, Jeff Yurkevich, hit Nessler after the play was over.
Give a coach gray hair. I see Ron shaking his head. I mean, as coaches, we know you make a great defensive play in a crucial situation, and then you have a penalty like that.
Now, instead of it being 4th down and then possibly lining up for a field goal attempt, it's probably going to be a 1st down situation with goal to go. It's a shame.
Carl Tarracone did a nice job of getting his hands up and making the quarterback lift the nose of that ball up in the air, which caused it to go over the receiver's head.
He strung it out very nicely.
Now, Tarracone's a big kid, 6'4" and a half. Yep, so there's the call. Unnecessary roughness, unsportsmanlike conduct, whatever you want to label it, but Lou Versillo's going to call it a dumb penalty, and it's giving Donovan more life at a touchdown here. So instead of 4th down in a possible field goal situation, it's 1st and goal inside the 5. 4th down. They give it to Nessler. He dives over. I don't know. No signal from the referee. I thought that was necessary roughness.
15-yard penalty. It should be. I thought it would be a 1st down myself. I don't understand that.
Well, the situation so far here is I just gave you some bad information. I thought it was an unnecessary roughness call, which would be a 1st down.
I thought you were right, Steve.
But it was 4th down.
Well, football officials are hard to understand. I mean,
I don't. So what the situation was, it was 4th and about a yard. Nessler dove, trying to get the 1st down. He's short, and Lacey has the ball first down. Do you have any explanation for that?
I don't know, unless they have the option to call a 15-yarder or a 5 if it's intentional or unintentional. I mean, I don't know. It's the only thing I can think of.
Anyway, you look at it, Steve. It was it's a 10-play drive from their own 42 down to the Lacey 3, and they gave the football up. A lot of things happened during that time period. Some completions, some good runs by Nessler, but in the end, Lacey's defense held.
Lacey offense has to get out of this hole. They have it 1st and 10 on their own 2. O'Rourke calls his own number. Gets close to the 5. Give O'Rourke about a yard on the carry.
Just trying to get a little running room, a little operating room.
Second down, 9 for Lacey. O'Rourke hands it to McKay, and McKay is really hit hard. Looked like Matt Ayers was the tackler on that.
Good stick.
That was solid.
That was a nice tackle.
We'll check inventory after those hits.
Of course, if Ron had an assistant coach, Tony Cimarini, his good buddy and a friend of mine also. Southern kid made a hit like that, he'd be jumping all over the sidelines, up and down. And
I tell you, he did so much for us as far as motivation and getting excited. He got excited and the kids got excited. That's what football's all about.
3rd and 6, Lacey runs it. Can't make out. It was Brett Deptula that appears to be short of the 1st down. Yeah, it's 4th down, a yard. And with that run, that ends the first quarter of play. Lacey, Monsignor, Donovan are scoreless. We'll be back with the second quarter and the possible Lacey punt after this.
Last time they had. So I think they're going to come up the
Fourth
block.
down for Lacey. They're punting. O'Rourke's in his own end zone. Low snap, having problems with it, but alertly just boots it. Hey, give O'Rourke a lot of credit for that. Now that's some quick thinking.
I told you he's a great athlete.
Now
He's
there's
been there.
flags.
We've got flags on the field.
I'm not even going to speculate.
Ineligible drop kick, possibly, Steve.
I think the flags were
Could be
thrown
almost anything for
after
these
the
guys.
ball landed, so.
Well after the play was over.
But that was an alert move by Tim O'Rourke.
He saved a touchdown, or at least inside the 5.
Now they're going to call a safety.
Like, how would you figure they came up with that?
Possibly he touched the ball and his knee was down.
Could be, yeah.
Could be that his knee was down, Ron. Yes.
But that's what they've called. They put the ball
Could
on the
it
20-yard line.
It's not a fumble, is it? Because if it's that
No, it's a
situation,
live
bad
ball
snap.
when it's snapped. It's a
So if
live
he kicks
ball.
it on the ground like that, you're not allowed to knowingly kick a fumbled ball. So-
Evidently, he picked it up with his knee on the ground.
Okay. I
and
guess.
then, and then kicked it. Got away from him, then he kicked it. 'Cause
Yeah, I
they're
would
gonna-
say his knee was on the ground. I would think that was the logical explanation. You can kick a fumble, by the way. You can try
Isn't that
to
a
keep it
penalty?
away from somebody else. Sure, you can.
knowingly walk over and just boot the football.
Yeah, bat it,
without it being.
kick it. Sure, you can.
Okay.
As long as no one has possession of it.
So that's a safety, which means that Lacey will have to kick to Donovan, and they're going to get excellent field position out of it. They kick here on the 20. So Donovan is up here, 2-0 in the second quarter. They're getting the ball back. Carl Tarracone kicks off. Good high, deep kick comes down to Brian Ventrella at about the 25. Got a lot of room up the middle of the field. And he's close to midfield, down around the 49-yard line.
There was a nice hole in here. He almost breaks it. He cuts back after he gets through the seam.
It's a good, smart kickoff return with that big wedge with those physically big Monsignor Donovan players.
1st and 10 for the Griffs. It's Tony Nessler again, and Pat Larray, the first man there, number 73. Got a lot of help on that. It's a big loss for Donovan.
Yeah, they tried to run a trap up inside there, and Lacey shut it right down.
Loss of 2. 2nd and 12.
Pass play, Ron. He licked his fingers.
Well, there's the tip-off. Nagy throwing downfield, looking for Harmon. Incomplete pass. 3rd down and 12.
Now, there are some habits that you can pick up on kids that are used to look for as far as scouting, and that was one of them. The kid has a habit of licking his fingers before he throws a pass, and you can kind of tell.
I'm gonna have to look for that. I never even thought of that, George.
Well, when you're coaching, you try to pull everything out of your bag of tricks that you have to. At least I had to, anyway.
We're all the same way, George.
He's licking his fingers again, George. It's 3rd down. So we'll see if they pass. Yep, Nagy back to pass again. He fires to Matt Ayers. Gain of, maybe 5 yards. Way short of the 1st down. 4th down, they're going to have to kick. Punter for Donovan, number 70, Joe DeVito.
I'm impressed
make it
with
number 82, Rob
Mike
Madsen.
Nagy. He throws a nice ball.
You can only stop licking his fingers now and tell everybody's going to throw it.
Well,
It'll be all right.
no,
No, you're right. He does throw a good football. Talking to Lou Versillo, he thought that the Monsignor Donovan quarterback was a better than average athlete.
Rob Mazza is the punter. Good high kick.
Nice punt.
Comes down to O'Rourke on about the 14. Donovan covers the kick well. Lacey gets it to about the 21-yard line.
The Griffin coaches knew that they had to key O'Rourke because he's the hub of the offense, and when he touches the football, which he does every down, things happen.
1st and 10 for Lacey. They hand it off to number 40, Brett Deptula, who's been running well for the Lions so far in the ball game.
That's that off-tackle play that they ran so successfully in their second series.
Give him 7 yards on that one. 2nd down and 3. The score here, Monsignor Donovan 2, Lacey nothing. The safety came after a strange series of events. First, we thought Donovan had a 1st and goal inside the Lacey 5. It turned out it was 4th down. They went for it, missed. Lacey trying to punt out of the hole, got hit with the safety. Deptula again. Deptula has the 1st down. He's just picking his way through the hole there.
A smart runner.
Nice effort there. Those quick hitters against the 4, once you break that off tackle area, now you've got the linebacker to your side instead of in your face if you can get into the hole real quick, and the advantage for picking up extra yardage is there because he's not fronting you.
Lacey's offensive line is very, very experienced. They're doing a very nice job.
1st and 10. O'Rourke looking to throw. He's looking, and he has number 46, Brian McKay. McKay in Donovan territory at the 49. They were at 33, so that's a gain of 18 yards.
What they tried to do is what Coach Versillo indicated. I think here's the replay coming back. But if you'll watch, Tim O'Rourke is moving to his left off play action. They're flooding the zone and getting the ball out as quickly as possible to Brian McKay.
Well, they try the run this time, and nothing. Number 54, the first man there.
They stuck
for
right into that,
Monsignor
George.
Donovan.
Yeah, Keith Murphy took the gap, and the linebacker went the other way, and they filled the gap, and he got through into the backfield.
Loss of 2 on that, 2nd and 12.
I think one of the toughest things for an offensive line coach is to coach your kids to pick up stunts.
Oh, it's hard. You're either up front, you're a zone, or you're a man blocking, and whichever you do, stunts are very hard to pick up.
They hand off to Deptula again, and Deptula running well. He's at the 45, 46 of Monsignor Donovan. Make it the 46.
Seems to me, Steve, that if Lacey stays and sticks with their game plan, that they can make yardage and just count on not making mistakes as they have in the past. They'll just keep moving this ball up and down the field. Hopefully they get into the end zone.
Scoring has definitely been a problem for Lacey. They've only scored 20 points on the year, and I think only 2 offensive touchdowns. O'Rourke called his own number. Didn't get much.
Sometimes an effective play against this defense, George, is to split your guards as wide as possible and pretty much ignore them and go right and block the backers and get your quarterback right up inside. Ignore those down tackles. Another
tough snap. This one high to O'Rourke. He brings it down in a good kick. Brian Ventrella takes it on the 7, and he's wrestled down by Brian Zippoli, number 12.
I think the Lacey Lions have to hope that their defense can make something happen for them here. I think they need a turnover to get back, not back into the game, but to put a score on the board.
Where's that? This about the 13-yard line. This is the worst field position for Donovan in the football game. They've had the ball at the 43, 42, and 48. This time they're on their own 13. And here's the handoff to, I believe that was Nessler. No surprise there. He's been carrying the ball practically the whole game for Monsignor Donovan. Looks like 2nd and 5. Tough to pick up these yard markers here. They're kind of difficult. Looks like 2nd and 5, 2nd and 6. Head off to the first man through.
Lacey was in
Nessler
what
again.
we call the Clemson technique, where they drop their Okie tackles, Oklahoma defensive tackles, down to the inside eye of the offensive tackles and come to the inside, and he was right in the hole.
Lacey, according to their defensive coach, Ed Heffernan, is more of a base 5-2 this year than they have, not as multiple, although they'll move that nose guard a little bit, and then they'll bring a linebacker.
3rd down, 3 for Donovan. Flags.
Eddie's been around a long time, Ron. He's coached up in Toms River, and he's a fine football coach.
He's a tremendous addition to Coach Fusillo's staff.
There you see it, motion on Donovan. So that'll put him 5 more yards in the hole, 3rd down. And I guess we'll have to see if Nagy licks his fingers here, because if he's going to pass on 3rd down and 8.
Yeah, I would say so. This is the kind of situation where I know I as a coach would like to throw the ball deep, not short, not try to pick, try to get it down the field. If it's picked off, it's like a punt.
And he's licking his fingers, and everyone's split wide on this. 3rd down and 8, Nagy looking to throw. He's going for O'Connor, excellent catch. Brian O'Connor with an excellent catch. And a lot of guts there, because he went right over the middle.
Well, he's he's an inside linebacker in the 4. He's one of the football players that Bob Masseri mentioned, and I like the way he hung tough looking at that football. I thought the safety was going to get a clean shot at him here.
Yeah.
In pro football, you see that look-in pattern, and a lot of times it ends like running into a stone wall. That safety had a heck of a shot at him and missed him.
He's a tall athlete. He put the ball right where he had to be to catch it.
That gives them the 1st down at their own 35. Mix up there as Pat LeRae drives Nagy for a loss. No one wanted that ball, so Pat LeRae took Nagy and dropped him.
I think Eddie Heffernan is calling the defensive signals, and those tackles are kind of moving. I don't think he wants his kids to be one-on-one with those Donovan tackles, and I think he's moving them a little bit more today.
Big loss. It's looking like 2nd down and 17 for Donovan. Number 30, Tommy Harmon, split wide, closest to us. Nagy looking around the right end. He's going to run it. Got back close to the original line of scrimmage.
Looks like there may have been some confusion there. He looked to his left like he was going to throw, and then he just tucked it and ran.
I think it looked like they had their wide out covered, some kind of a hitch pass, and he just pulled it down and did the smart thing instead of throwing it out there and having an incompletion or having it picked off.
3rd and 11 for Donovan. 3:38 left here, first half of play. The Griffins are leading the host Lacey Lions 2-0. Movement there on the line. Number 71 of Lacey, Chris Liberto, appeared to have made contact with the Donovan center, Charlie Lobato, and that's the call.
I think that's one of those errors again that Coach Fusillo was talking about. You get them in a definite long yardage situation, and now you get them back in the ball game a little bit.
3rd and 6 from their own 40. Nagy looking to throw, pressured to his right, fires, it's complete to number 41, the tight end, Frank Conrad. Another 1st down, a big 1st down on 3rd down.
I don't know what his percentage is, Ron, but I don't think he's thrown an incomplete pass.
He's thrown about 6 times, and he's at least 5 out of 6.
Well, they threw that one incompletion when they were deep in Lacey territory, the pass to Nessler.
But he's been very effective.
That completion to Conrad got Donovan into Lacey territory. They're at the Lacey 49, 3:14 and counting.
Trips
Once
left
again, they've
formation.
got 4 wide receivers stacked to the left side, and they throw it to the right, and it's intercepted by number 34, Chris Farrell. Farrell still running. Farrell down to the 30-yard line. Big interception.
What they tried to do was put 4 wideouts, 4 eligible receivers to the left, and try to throw to the tight end on the right side, and I don't think they fooled anyone there.
I think what happened is they covered the 3 wideouts, but then they went man on the tight end, and that's who they tried to throw to. It was not a very well thrown football, and was picked off. And now Lacey's right back into it in pretty good field position.
They ruled that Chris Farrell stepped out of bounds at the 42 of Monsignor Donovan. It's Brett Deptula. Deptula up the middle. Number 82 in there, that's Rob Mazza, dragging down Deptula. 2:46 to go here. First half, Donovan leading Lacey 2-0. But the interception by Chris Farrell has given the Lions their best field position of the day in Donovan territory. Second down, looks like 7. O'Rourke looking to throw, lobs it up. It's caught by Brian McKay. McKay awfully close to the first down. That's twice they've thrown to McKay out of the backfield today.
In the same spot.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the common things that most coaches try to do against the zone is to flood the zone. He's got 2 deep and he's got a short receiver in the flat, and that's who's been open.
And it is a first down.
A lot of times it's hard for a young quarterback not to throw to the short man. They always have a tendency to throw long. And what happens with a veteran like O'Rourke, he's getting the ball to the short man.
First and 10, inside 2 minutes left, first half. O'Rourke hands off to Deptula again. Deptula gets a good strong 7-8 yards on that one.
You can really see Coach Vasilla's game plan evolve, as you said, Ron. The off tackle, the flats, attack the flats with the quarterback.
Well, Lou Versillo, his style has always been to try and grind it out on you. He's not one to open it up and throw long.
Well, he is an imaginative coach, though. He does have quite a number of formations he can go to. It's just that he's taking what the defense is giving him.
Second down, make it 4. They give it to Deptula again, and it seems that the first hit isn't stopping Deptula. He just keeps on going, getting that extra yardage.
That was a good, tough run. He picked up about 2 yards, and he had people all over him.
And Lacey calls a timeout here with 1:06 left to play in the first half.
This is a big play for them.
They can keep the momentum going, which they obviously have right now after that good defensive stand, the interception, and the good ball carrying right now off tackle. Hopefully by before the half, maybe they can get on the scoreboard.
Well, it's 3rd down and 2 with the 1:06 left. You're on the Donovan 25. What would be your plan of attack with 1:06 left and 2 timeouts?
Well, I think what you want to try to do is at least get yourself in field position to kick a field goal. They do have an excellent field goal kicker. I think what you'll see now is maybe some pressure on the corner by the quarterback again, or maybe just the off-tackle run, which they've been successful with.
They have 2 downs to do it, I would say. You know, they're not going to punt from here, and I don't know how far he can kick this field goal, but that's...
Well, I tell you, in pre-game, he was this is well within his range, but he has not been successful in his last 5 field goal attempts. He's 2 for 7 for the year, and he's had some opportunities in the past to put some points up, but I think he's going to be in field goal range.
He has a good strong leg. Distance isn't the problem. It's been the accuracy for Carl Tarracone, the Lacey kicker. 3rd down and 2.
I look for a rollout, kind of a rollout. O'Rourke on the corner here.
And it is roll out to the right. Now, O'Rourke has some room, but he's firing downfield, and it is broken up by the free safety, Frank Conrad. Good play intended for Sean Giordano, but now a late flag is down. Been thrown in the secondary. Donovan is clapping, but we don't know the signal yet. Now Lacey's clapping. Well, the penalty is against Monsignor Donovan.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Marking it off to the, looks like the 10, about the 12-yard line, it appears. So that's where Lacey will have the ball at the 12-yard line. First down, 58 seconds left.
Now keep in mind that was a third down play. That penalty could hurt Monsignor Donovan.
O'Rourke looking to the end zone, gets away from the pressure. He's firing to the end zone, incomplete. Intended for number 41, Pat Murphy. Looked like Kevin Gain was the first player for Donovan to get in and hit O'Rourke, but he spun out.
And Tim had the presence of mind to get rid of the football and not take the loss and get himself out of field goal range, which is a heads-up play.
Plus stopping that clock, too.
Right.
I like the way the receiver came back to the area that the quarterback was running into. You know, you try to teach your receivers to mirror the quarterback when he gets in trouble and the play breaks down. And he did a nice job doing that.
2nd and 10, number 43, Sean Giordano, split to the right. O'Rourke looking, he's going to run it himself. He's got some room. But saving the day there was Brian O'Connor, number 44. It appeared that O'Rourke could have got in. And Lacey calls it second timeout with 39 seconds left.
I think it's important here, George, that they put some kind of points on the board, whether it's 6 in the end zone or a field goal. But I think it's very, very imperative to their football team right now to put some points before the half.
Absolutely. And to walk away empty here, you know, you go into the locker room and you have that empty feeling. You want your kids to go in there with an uplift is right.
On the replay, I think you'll see a scramble up inside. He's looking to the outside, tucks it down and goes down and makes a good effort, and the ball's down on the 5-yard line.
Brian O'Connor, one of those inside linebackers we were talking about from Donovan, that play so prominent, came up and made the big play there, because if he didn't wrap up O'Rourke, he was in.
You know, as a coach, when you try to defend a kid like this, you know, he can do so many things. It's so difficult. But sometimes you don't want him to scramble. You want him to stay in the pocket. Don't run on us, you know.
He does add a different dimension when you can run the football and you've got those 4 backs that defend rather than 3.
The scramble by O'Rourke brought the ball down to the 5. It's about 3rd and 2. O'Rourke gives it to Deptula, and Deptula struggling close to the goal line. It appears to be short, but it looks like he may have the first down. Calling the officials want their own time here. Looks like they might bring the chains out for this one. It's awfully close. Yep, they're going to measure this one here. Awfully close. Brett Teptula running hard, running strong for Lacey so far. Got close to the first down. And they're short, so it's 4th down. You see the signal there.
What do you do,
Got a
Coach?
foot.
Well, according to Coach Frisillo, in goal line situations, what he wanted to try to do against Monsignor Donovan was, again, to threaten the corner with his quarterback, run the ball off tackle, run some play action. You just saw him run the ball off tackle, so it could bring the quarterback out on the corner, which gives you 2 options, to throw the football or to run it in.
He might quarterback sneak here, Ron.
4th down and a foot. It was O'Rourke. It looked like he was short of the first down there. Donovan had a lot of penetration, but there's also a flag on the
awful
play.
Big inside.
See what the flag's all about.
But if it's a penalty against Lacey, which I think it is.
You'll see Terracone, I think.
It is on Lacey, so that'll drop him back 5 yards. 19 seconds left. It's 4th down. I guess they're waiting the decision from the sideline here. The Lacey players looking towards the bench.
Going to use their last time out, I believe, to talk it over.
Yes, that's your 3rd.
Now, how important is it right here, Ron, if Lacey does decide to go for it and they come away with nothing? That's got to be...
Well, it just means that the halftime really has to be not only the strategies, but also the mental part of it, to try to sell them on the idea, hey, you move the ball, you can move against their big defense. Let's go out and do it again. I know Coach Versillo right now wants those 3 points very badly.
Yeah, in comes the kicking team. Now Carl Tarracone, who hit his first 2 field goals of the year, but as Ron Everett mentioned a short while ago, he's been unsuccessful on his last 5. Where's he placing the tee? It looks like the tee's at the... about the 14-yard line there, so make this a 24-yard attempt. Make it 25 now. He places it back on the 15. Carl Tarracone attempting a 25-yard field goal that would put Lacey up by a point. Brian Zippoli is the holder. Bad snap. Zippoli's going to have to do something on his own. He's a quarterback. He fires, intended for number 84, Jim Noller. And it's incomplete. The long snapper for Lacey's number 77, Scott Stevens. They had some problems, and Lacey comes away with nothing.
Coach Versillo is so high on Scott Stevens. He's just a fine football player. I think you'll see, if we have a replay, that the snap was low, and the holder, who is a quarterback, tried to get it. Usually what they have, George, I'm sure you did it, I know we did, is you have a help call, and whether he yelled help or not, he was looking for someone in the flat to recognize that he didn't get the snap.
So Donovan just running the clock out here to end the first half. They escape, so they hold on to their lead. Donovan leads 2-0. We'll be back with the second half of play after this commercial timeout. Getting ready to start the second half of play here. Lacey trailing Monsignor Donovan 2-0. And the scoreboard is indicative of the way the game's been played today. Not much firepower at all in the game. It's been going kind of slow.
Well, I think both teams have shown spurts in the first half, but something's happened to negate whatever they've done that's positive. So hopefully it'll improve in the second half for both.
I think it's just those little breakdowns. You know, the mental errors, a silly penalty here or there. It's slowed both teams down. Both teams, except one instance for both, have had pretty good field position.
Yeah.
They've both shown an ability to move the ball on the ground. Monsignor Donovan has thrown the ball pretty well, and Lacey has put pressure on the corner and thrown the ball pretty well. So I think it's just a matter of putting it all together and being able to get into the end zone. And someone, you know, it's out there to be had. The momentum has to be gotten by someone and kept. And right now that hasn't been done.
I guess the lack of scoring has to bother Monsignor Donovan a lot more than Lacey, because their first 2 games, excepting last week's shutout against Shore, which just really played a perfect game against him, Donovan scored 52 points in their first 2 games, and they're used to moving the ball up and down the field and getting some big plays. Lacey has had a lot of problems on offense. They've only scored 2 touchdowns all year, and one of those touchdowns was on offense. The other was on a kickoff return by Tim O'Rourke, and Keith Elias scored that touchdown, and he's out. But Brett Deptula, who is playing quite well for Lacey today, just apparently doesn't have the speed that Elias possesses, and is not able to break a long one, whereas Elias might have.
Yeah, I think you're right, Steve.
So Lacey, which received in the first half, will kick off to open up the second. Donovan has deep, number 24, Brian Ventrella. Also back there, number 11, Dennis Orlando. And number 29, that is Chris Spakowski, who has a dubious nickname, which we'll get to in a moment. Good kick by Tarracone, coming to Ventrella at the 5-yard line. Ventrella going right. Nice moves, nice blocks. He's around midfield, taken down near the 40-yard line. Good running there by Brian Ventrella. Good return.
Sorry.
They set that up nicely for Ventrella. Read his blocks well, and
Yeah, they had a nice return in the first half.
I will mark this at the 41-yard line for Monsignor Donovan. Mike Nagy's the quarterback. Number 44, Brian O'Connor in the backfield. Tony Nessler, number 22. He's been doing most of the work, carrying the ball. And no exception here in the second half. He's hit, looked like either Jim Noller or Christopher Rule on that tackle, along with Chris Windecker, I believe, number 24.
I think for the most part, Lacey's defense has done what most defenses try to do, is put a lot of people on the line of scrimmage and fill the gaps in early downs and force teams into passing situations, and pretty much they've done that.
Lacey comes into today's contest with the 4th-ranked defense in Ocean County. That's in terms of yards allowed. And Nagy looking to pass, firing downfield off the hands. It's intercepted by Brian Zippoli. Zippoli near the 40-yard line of Monsignor Donovan. That's the second interception of the day for Lacey, and both interceptions have come on tipped balls. This time it was tipped by number 40, Matt Ayers of Donovan.
Dad, did you get that?
Take a look at that. Brian Zippoli with the interception. Good concentration here.
Nagy off action, throws the ball downfield. It's deflected. And Zippoli, who is a very good athlete, starting defensive back and had played quarterback the first 2 games, runs the ball back and gets Lacey in pretty good field position.
They start off on the Donovan 41. O'Rourke rolling right. He's got the ball tucked under his arm. Turns the corner. And he's smashed out of bounds. Matt Ayers there along with number 82, Rob Mazza, all full close to the first down.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot more of that from Lacey in the second half. You know, O'Rourke's a great athlete. He's got to have the football. You got to get him in the action. He'll make things happen, and you saw it there.
At the 30-yard line of Monsignor Donovan. Lacey had good field position to end the first half, but they came away with no points on the muff snap on the field goal attempt. Handoff to Brett Deptula, and he's an awfully hard runner. The way he hit the pack, he spun off, got some extra yards.
Yeah, I really like him as a running back, George. He really hits up in there and fights for those extra yards.
He's aggressive. He's got good leg action,
yeah.
And even when he took a solid shot that time, he still kept going.
Well, I'm sure if Elias was healthy, with this kid ramming up inside and Elias the ball outside, and O'Rourke, you know, their offense, of course, is hurting quite a bit without Elias.
Gain of 4 for Deptula. Second down, 6. O'Rourke hands it to Deptula again. This time, he doesn't get much. Number 50, Charlie Robato, was there. Appeared to be the first guy on the spot to take down Deptula. Third down. Looks like he lost a yard. Make it 3rd down and 7 here for Lacey. 9:47 to go. Just underway here in the second half. Monsignor Donovan leads 2-0. O'Rourke looking to roll, gets away from one Donovan defender, throws downfield, and it is complete to number 44 for the Lions. That's Steve Strack, the backup tight end. And
he does a nice job here. Does that flood again, Ron, that you were talking about?
Off inside action, he gets out on the corner, puts a lot of pressure on the secondary. Looks like it's actually almost deflected into the arms of the other receiver. But they're in great field position now.
That pass gets him near right on the 1-yard line. O'Rourke to Deptula. He's in. Touchdown. Brett Deptula crashes in from the 1 after the big pass play to Steve Strack, which set up that, and Lacey scores only their second offensive touchdown of the year, and that gives them the lead, 6-2.
Yeah, 6 plays, 42-yard drive, 2 big plays, roll out by O'Rourke, roll out pass completion by O'Rourke, touchdown.
Carl Terracone on to attempt the extra point. Really put the foot into that one. Goes to show you how strong his leg really is. He nailed that. And the kick was good. Lacey leads 7-2.
I like that in the kicker. And we used to tell our kickers the same thing. Don't try to finesse the ball over the goalpost when you're kicking an extra point. You kick it as hard as you can because it throws your timing off if you change the speed.
Well, he almost put that one on the tennis court, so I think he did just that, George.
He wasn't shy about that one at all. He really nailed it.
Now, kickers, when you miss 4 or 5 field goals, it starts to get into your head. You know, you've got to really talk to a kid because he is a youngster, and you know, you don't want to get him emotionally upset. I always told our kickers, you can always win a game. You will never lose the game because there are too many other plays in the ball game to blame it on one missed kick.
You know, the Lacey offense has to feel kind of pumped up right now because not only did they score the touchdown, they came right at Monsignor Donovan that series. They went right after them. Tarracone. Line drive kick into the end zone. I tell you, this Carl Tarracone has got some power in that leg.
I think the Lacey staff at halftime obviously did a tremendous job of again getting their team prepared and selling them the idea that they had moved the football and just to go right out there and go back to your game plan and put pressure on the corner, run the ball off tackle. Now I'm sure their defensive coaches want to try to put pressure again on Monsignor Donovan and get the ball back.
Donovan trailing in the ball game right now, 7-2, 9:13 left here, third quarter of play. Steve McGowan along with George Jeck and Ron Emmert here. Nagy fumbles the snap, appeared to be, but he makes something out of a broken play. Gained 5 yards. Looked like he did fumble that snap and picked it up on the bounce.
A lot of times when you put somebody in the gap right next to the center is anxious to cut him off so he doesn't penetrate, and he kind of takes off a lot quicker than he normally would if there was a man on his head, and sometimes the ball will come up between the center and the quarterback's hands.
That's such a helpless feeling for a defensive coach who sets his defense to perfectly execute and prevent the offense from moving, and then all of a sudden the good athlete makes a great play and gains 5 yards when you've had it perfectly defensed.
Second down and 5 after Nagy made something out of the broken play. Tony Nessler trying the right end. Picked up a couple. Third down.
Now, Steve, I just noticed that one of the officials on the field is Sam Riello. Sam was a great high school running back at Brick Township. He broke all kinds of records. I think he scored over 40 or 50 touchdowns, something like that, in his high school career.
They have his jersey retired in the Brick Showcase
They
there?
do, yes. He was a number 9.
He, along with Danny McCullough, I believe, has his jersey retired. Pete Panusko, of course.
Yeah.
No one will wear number 21 again.
Billy Hess, who was an outstanding football player there.
Third down, 3 for Donovan. Nagy going around the right end. He has the first down. Tackled by number 33, Mike Latinen, the cornerback. Lacey coaching staff breaking something down, so when they go out there on offense, go right at Donovan. They went at him the last time they had the ball, resulted in a touchdown. So the offense has the confidence. Let's see if the tough Lacey defense can turn the ball over for their offense in good field position. And field position has really been a problem for Donovan their last couple of possessions. Carl Tarracone's leg started them out on their 20, and before that, Donovan was out their own 13. Right now, with the first down by Nagy, they were on the 30, and there's the pitch to Tony Nessler. Got around 5 yards there.
Yeah, Donovan slowly moving the football, up the field, little by little, just like they wanted to start the game. Control the football, run the power game.
Seems like you see a lot of variety of offense with Monsignor Donovan. They pitch the ball, they run the ball up inside, they try sweeps, they throw the football, they run some option. Very varied.
Matt Ayers split wide to the left here. Pitch it to Tony Nessler. Nessler got a couple. Third down, looks like 3.
I'm very impressed with the Lacey defense. They're well schooled. They're like you said, they're basic. They line up and they play you head on and they take you on.
So Ron mentioned earlier, he says that Lou Versillo, the Lacey coach, says this is probably the most physical group of kids that he's had in his 7 years after school, and it shows on defense. Third down. Nagy looking to throw. It's going down the sideline. Intended for Frank Conrad. Incomplete. It'll be fourth down.
I'm surprised they haven't come back to that pop pass to the tight end. I thought, that was such an effective play for them that we'd see it again.
Well, sometimes as a coach, when you throw that incompletion or you throw that interception, you're a little leery because, first of all, the quarterback has lost a little bit of his feeling that he can complete the football, so you stay away from it.
Rob Mazza back to punt for the Griffs. Tim O'Rourke, the deep man for Lacey. Line drive kick. Bounces over the head of O'Rourke. Fields it on his 20, retreats his 15, turns it upfield, and tripped up by number 54. That is Keith Murphy for Donovan.
I saw a little burst of speed there that I didn't think he had. He almost cut it right through them.
He does. He has good speed. I'd say he's a 4.6 40 man. He gives him a new dimension, boy, when he's a return man back there.
He looks smooth when he runs, but that time you could see an acceleration.
He was an ankle away, I think.
Well, Tim O'Rourke, definitely one of the top 3 sprinters in Ocean County. They give it to Brett Deptula once again. Gets over the 30.
I think, Steve, they're right back to their game plan. Get that ball off tackle, play action pass, and bootleg. I think if you total up the difference in plays, I think maybe 3 or 4 plays, it's all Lacey's run, but they run them pretty effectively.
Give 5 yards to Deptula. 2nd and 5. This Deptula appears to be a very solid, reliable running back. He's going to give you close to 4 yards a clip because he runs very hard. O'Rourke looking to throw, rolling left, fires across the field. He had Brian McKay, but it was just a little in front and out of reach.
That's a very difficult pass to complete when you're throwing against the momentum of your body. And the drag man was open. It just means he was just maybe a little bit deeper than maybe he should have been, or I think O'Rourke maybe just thought that he was a little bit stronger arm-wise than he was, but that's a hard throw.
That just shows the experience of Tim O'Rourke playing the position the past couple of years, because last year he would have tried to turn the corner with that ball, and this year he waited a little bit longer. It was a difficult throw, and they almost had a big play out of it. 3rd and 5. O'Rourke running this time. He's hit at the 35, short of the first down marker by close to 2 yards. That's going to bring up 4th down, and the Lions, Mr. Everything, Tim O'Rourke, will be back to punt. Now, Donovan has blocked 3 punts so far this year, and they pride themselves on putting a lot of pressure on a kicker, but as I see now, they're dropping 3. They're not really going after the kick, but they did get good penetration there. Brian O'Connor signaling for the fair catch is Frank Conrad. Takes it on the, appears to be 34-yard line of
Usually
Donovan.
when you realize that the other team has had a problem with snapping the football in their kick game, you kind of say, hey, we'll take a chance because maybe it's a bad snap again. We'll be right on top of the ball. But
4:09 left here, 3rd quarter of play. Lacey leads Monsignor Donovan 7-2. Brett Deptula scored the only touchdown of the ball game thus far. Nagy looking to throw. He's swinging it out to Nessler. Just a little overthrown. If it was there, he had some room.
that's the first time that either team has thrown on 1st down. They've run the ball.
Yeah, most of them have been, if you look at orthodox or unorthodox teams, the teams that throw the ball on 1st down sometimes have more success as far as momentum, moving the football. Both teams, as you say, really haven't thrown the ball on 1st downs, early downs very much.
2nd down, 10. Frank Conrad split wide to the left. Nessler in motion. Nagy going downfield, intended for number 30, Tommy Harmon, but it's incomplete. And there's a flag down. Flags in the area of the line of scrimmage. So I guess an inadvertent flag, make it 3rd down and 10. Third and 10. Donovan on their own 33. They run the draw to Brian O'Connor. And O'Connor wrapped up by number 66, Jeff Yurkevich. 4th down. Donovan having a tough time on offense so far in the second half. Lacey's defense really solid.
Well, you know, sometimes as a coach you try to get it back all at one time. And there's really nothing wrong with Donovan's offense. It's just a matter of sticking to the game plan and just keep moving the ball and mixing it up a little bit. They started out throwing, they got themselves into a 2nd and long, 3rd and long, and they were handicapped a bit.
Mazza sending one near the sidelines at about the 30. Marking it at the 28-yard line, where Lacey will start out 1st and 10.
Hey, you notice that with the exchange of punts, Donovan has picked up yardage, though, consistently pushing Lacey back further toward their goal line. And
that field position is all important.
Especially in a game like this. That's what I was going to say, Steve. You know, in a tight ball game, you want to maintain field position.
Lacey comes out 1st down on their own 28. O'Rourke didn't like what he saw out there, called a timeout. Lacey's 1st. With that, let's just run down the coaching staffs of the respective teams. Lou Frisillo, as we said before, has been here 7 years. Ron, you want to go over
Yeah,
that
some
staff?
of his very able assistants, Ken Hart, Jim Habel, John Kilmurray, and Rich Stratton, who have moved up from the freshman level to be assistants on the varsity. Ed Heffernan, as we've mentioned already, his defensive coach, who has been with him for quite a number of years. Ralph Bigger and Steve Costello. And that rounds out Coach Frisillo's staff.
That Ralph Bigger's a newcomer, and his son Reese is outstanding cross-country runner. Lacey's undefeated team so far, so they have to be happy about that. As for Monsignor Donovan, George.
Head coach Robert Masuri, assistant coaches Rich DeMarco, Mickey Healy, Tom Farrell, and James Reardon.
I guess for Mickey Healy, defensive coaching runs in the family. His brother Steve's been the defensive coach at Central Regional for over 10 years now. It's his 1st year at Donovan after spending the last 8 with the Mariners of Tom's River North.
I had the opportunity to work in an all-star game with Mickey Healy. He's a fine coach, and he's doing a great job with their defense.
1st and 10. O'Rourke looking to throw, going downfield for Strack. He has him. Did a good job of holding on to that ball once he caught it, because it appeared that Frank Conrad had his arm in there about to knock it out.
Yeah, earlier in the half, I like the way he gunned that ball in there, Ron.
Yeah,
he tried to finesse a pass in the first half, and the kid knocked it down, one of the defenders. Here he really sticks
this again
it in
is
there.
off action. Steps up inside, throws the ball with a lot of authority. Strack makes a nice reception. He's caught a number of balls today.
Brings it up to midfield at the 50. Deptula plowing ahead. 5-6 yards on that one.
That's that base off tackle play against that split 6 that Donovan's running, and they've been running it successfully all day.
2:30 and counting here, 3rd quarter of play. Lacey leading 7-2, and they're driving. They're at the 44-yard line of Monsignor Donovan. So I guess right now, so far, it's been a happy homecoming here at Lacey High School.
Lacey seems to be in control right now.
2nd down, 4. Oh, they give it to Brian McKay. He hasn't had his number called running the ball much today. They've thrown to him quite a bit. He's picked up a yard.
I think if he had cut it up inside, he had some more yards. He sort of maybe strung that out a little bit too wide.
You know, the thing the Lacey coaching staff has to be pleased about is, well, I guess it was their bugaboo so far this year. They moaned about the lack of execution and at times concentration on the offense. And it seems today that they've been doing things according to the game plan, and they haven't turned the ball over.
That's the key. If you can hold on to it, then you've got a chance. If you keep turning it over or making silly mistakes, it makes it very difficult to get any momentum.
Third down, looks like 3 here for the Lions. O'Rourke to McKay. McKay has the first down.
Very impressive, running to the wing side of the formation, and they folded the Monsignor Donovan defense back 4 or 5 yards down the field.
First down, mark it at the 40.
Now, Lacey's had their problems too this year, Steve,
Yeah,
with injuries to their players and switching kids in positions, and that kind of, those are the kinds of things that you like to get done in the preseason before your season starts. And when you have to do those kinds of things during the season, it really sets you back.
They lost 2 of the keys on the offense aren't here. Bob Wright, who's an outstanding two-way tackle for Lacey, is out, and Keith Elias, the sophomore running back, isn't in. And there's Brett Teptula. Teptula, he's over the 35, right about the 34. Picks up 6 more.
Another thing that a lot of people don't realize is that Lacey had 3 or 4 key players ineligible scholastically. They just came back against Borough last week, so their timing, of course, can't be great either.
Yeah.
But they certainly had another dimension, and thankfully they're back with Elias and Wright out.
Second down, 4. O'Rourke looking to throw. He has a man, it's complete. Close to the first down. Well, it looks like it was something happened there within it. Looked like it was completed. Apparently it was intercepted.
Must have bounced up on an angle that we couldn't see.
I couldn't see it from this angle here. The pass appeared to be complete. I imagine he fumbled the ball.
Maybe he fumbled it, yeah.
So Donovan with the turnover. They have it on their own 35, and that's going to end the third quarter of play. 12 minutes left to go in this football game. Lacey leading Monsignor Donovan 7-2. We'll be back with the final 12 minutes after this. Well, they're all up and clapping here at Lacey. Their Lions are up 7-2, and there's the line. Took some time out from the jungle to be here today. Big turnover, though. We were talking before about Lacey, how they were executing, and they're driving to tack another one on the board. They complete a pass, fumble it. Monsignor Donovan has it now.
That was that momentum we were talking about at halftime. It's out there, and it looked like Lacey had it, and just one little fumble changes things around. Now their defense has to come back again and play tough and get the ball back.
Well, there are some things important in a game of football, and there are also some things important up here in the booth, and that's getting free food and drinks. And we want to thank John Gardy, the athletic director here at Lacey High School, for supplying us with the dogs and the Cokes. Thanks a lot, John.
Yes, John, thank you.
Thank you.
Pitch to Nestler. Nestler gains a yard, maybe 2.
Nestler carried, stopped on play by number 77, Scott Stevens.
Pierce Donovan started on their own 31, got 2 on that, mark it to 33, so second down and 8 for Monsignor Donovan.
Keep my eyes on number 82, Mazza. He's a very big target.
And he's open, he's wide open, but he throws it underneath to Brian O'Connor. He's awfully close to the first down. Mazel was wide open, slipped right behind the cornerback. And
yeah, I think I see a mismatch that I would personally try to take advantage of. Of course, it's easier sitting up here, but he's a big boy. I don't know, he looks like he's about 6'4", and the halfback, number 24 for Lacey, is not that big. And I thought they were going to go to Mazza.
well, he was wide open, but they went underneath to Brian O'Connor. He's close to the first down and bringing out the chains. Yeah, Mazza goes 6'4", 191, and at that play, it looked like number 12, Brian Zippoli, was on him. Zipoli's only 5'9", so. So first down for Monsignor Donovan. They start out the fourth quarter on a good note. They're trailing by 5, 7-2. Donovan has it on their 41. 1st and 10. Nagy looking to throw again. Pops it up in the air. It's intercepted by Chris Windecker. 3rd interception of the ball game.
Intercepted by number 24, Chris
I
Windecker.
think that was Terracone again who got his hand up on the ball.
Chris Windecker, number 24, with the interception, gives Lacey excellent field position.
Big play. See, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog.
It's a big dog out there.
Take a look at it here. Nagy, the ball was tipped, and Windecker picked it off.
It's heads-up play. That's that tip drill, George, you always worked on.
3 or 4 times in this ball game.
Lacey with the ball on a Donovan 33. It's Brett Deptula close to the 30-yard line. Make it 2nd down and 7.
Brett Deptula carries. Stopped on the play by number 71.
Getting up slowly on the play. It's number 84, Jim Noller. Give Deptula 2 on that carry. 2nd down and 8. Just under 10 minutes here to go in the 4th quarter. Brian McKay.
They haven't had much success on that counter. Either team, really. It seems like they're just, both teams are too big defensively inside to run that effectively.
Yeah, they're trying to trap the 1st down lineman past the center with the tackle, and it's just developing too slowly.
It's a big defensive play for Monsignor Donovan. It's 3rd down and 5. Ball's on their 28-yard line. Windecker in motion. O'Rourke looking to throw. Going downfield for Terracone. Just past the outstretched arms.
I think with Carl Terracone, you saw a common mistake by a lot of receivers running with their hands up rather than running to the ball and at the last moment putting your hands up. Plus, he looked around a little bit and took his eyes off the ball. But it was a well-conceived play, and it was there, and I think they may come back to that.
It's 4th down and 5, and there's a Donovan player on the field who is covering Terracone. He's laying near the end zone. The Donovan trader, Gary Stocco, is there along with the Donovan coach, Bob Musari.
It looks like it might be a cramp, Steve. They're trying to lift his leg, his toe up, which means they're trying to stretch the muscle.
It's 4th down for Lacey, and I don't see the kicking team out there. It looks like they're going to go for it.
Oh, I would say so. In this particular situation, they should go for it.
They're up 7-2, 9:19 left. Donovan player still on the field, as you see right there. Trying to, like you said, George, straighten out the leg. It appears to be number 41, Frank Conrad. Yeah, it's him.
Yeah, you can see them massaging the calf and trying to get the circulation back in there. And he's got a knee pad on, you know. And a lot of times when players wear a brace or a pad of that kind, it restricts the flow of the circulation sometimes, and they're more apt to have a cramp.
Well, he's walking off the
Frank
field.
Conrad's a pretty valuable offensive player, too. He's caught a couple passes for them.
Big kid, 6'3", 182-pound senior. And he's jogging off the field now, so that's a good sign.
And it's a tendency now for a coach to come back at a substitute, maybe throw the ball in that area when your first line player goes out.
Number 24, Brian Ventrella, is there. O'Rourke runs it. He's got the 1st down. He's down near the 10. Gets around as Ayers drags him down. Matt Ayers didn't let him get around him. He drags him down, not after O'Rourke with a big play. And the 1st down inside the 10-yard line appears to be at the 5-yard line.
As we mentioned before, here's the replay.
Gain of 23 for O'Rourke.
Rowland looking to pass, pulls the ball down and now cuts across field and just uses his speed to get the ball down to the 10, actually down to the 5-yard line. As we mentioned before, during the first 2 ball games, Tim O'Rourke was a running back, and when he put that ball down and tucked it away, he became a running back again and did a very good job.
Gain of 23 on the play, got it down to the 5-yard line, and Donovan's defense is going to have to come up with something big. Lacey has already stopped Donovan in a similar situation. And as it turned out, it resulted in a safety, Donovan's only score. They were stopped. Lacey had to punt out of their own end zone. Apparently, Tim O'Rourke, the punter, touched the ball with his knee on the ground, and that was a safety. But in the second half, it's been Lacey so far. They're up 7-2. They're trying to score again.
Well, the Griffins have made a couple of errors, and Lacey's capitalized on them. If they put one in here, they're going to have all the momentum.
3 interceptions for Lacey.
Well, the first 4 times of the second half that Donovan's had the ball, they've had to punt twice and they've thrown 2 interceptions. So that's a heads-up defense by Lacey. Of course, they got the ball back. Now they're ready to go in and score again.
O'Rourke to Deptula. Brett Deptula is awfully
He's
close.
not in. He's awful close. Is right, Steve.
Second down and goal from inside the 1. Awfully close. About a length of a football shy of a touchdown.
Let's see what they do, Ron. I mean, last time they went for the quarterback sneak, and you'd rather see him go outside or off tackle.
Well, you know, right now they've got 3 more downs to do it. I think they'll run the same play.
O'Rourke to Deptula. Touchdown. Brett Deptula, his second touchdown of the game. And Lacey leads it here 13-2 with 8:20 left in the football game.
Well, Lou Versillo's game plan has certainly held true. Here's the replay.
Now they're gonna, there it is.
And there's Deptula off tackle. That's what Coach wanted to do. He wanted to run the ball off tackle in goal line situations or put pressure on the corner. And that was Deptula off tackle for a score.
Tarracone's extra point is good. And Lacey leads 14-2.
That was certainly the best snap of all 3. That the center is snapped back to the place kick holder. And you know, we talked about how the place kicker Tarracone has had problems in the past. It's more than just the kicker a lot of times. It's the holder, it's the center. It's really a very, very intricate part of the game, getting all those things down and get the timing down.
Well, Donovan's faced with the prospect now of having to put the ball up in the air, really. 8:16 left.
Well, you know, they moved the ball from the 34-yard line in for a score. The big play was O'Rourke tucking the ball away and taking off for that 23-yard jaunt down to the 5.
Mm-hmm. And of course, if Donovan's going to have to score on this possession and really do the job on defense and then punch it in again. Not much time left. 8:16.
Donovan's had 2 nice kickoff returns, almost broke 1.
But with this kid Tarracone, he can really boot it. It comes to Spakowski at the 1. He gets around the corner, and away he goes. And as you're talking, George, there's another good return.
They've done well in the kicking game on their returns.
Chris Spakowski. He's affectionately known as Toast to his teammates, as they were saying. I don't think it's a very nice nickname to have if you're a defensive back.
Well, you know, what was it, Elvis Patterson, right, of the Giants? He breaks it nice. He goes up into the wedge, and then he turns it to the outside and finds an alley up the sidelines.
Breaks it up to the 42-yard line. So Donovan's offense going to have to work something out here. Mike Nagy's the quarterback.
I think Mike Nagy has to connect on a couple of passes, get his confidence back, Ron. He's missed the last couple. He's had a couple intercepted. Really, maybe one was his fault. The others were tipped or could have been caught.
Well, I think a little bit of his problem has been and again, a lot of it's the defense. You can't take anything against Lacey's defense, but his size takes a little bit away. He's got to roll a little bit. I don't think he can drop straight back because they're just too big. But then if he rolls to the Terracone side, he's had a problem with Terracone size. So I think he's just got to settle down and get the short pass and just pick away a little bit.
And here's Nagy swinging it out to Tony Nessler. Nessler taken down by number 21 of the Lions. That is Rob Goyden.
It certainly is a safe pass, and it gets them 2nd and 7. Here they go into the big eye. Front two backs are blocking, and he dumps it off to Nessler on a swing pass.
They're flooding the left side now, Donovan is. Last time when they did that, they threw to the right. He's going downfield for O'Connor, overthrown and tipped by Pat Murphy.
Yeah, they had 3 eligible receivers on the left side of the formation and 2 eligible receivers on the right side of the formation, and they tried to go deep down the field, and he overthrew it.
3rd down and 7, and Donovan has done a lot of different things on offense. The one thing we haven't seen is the shotgun, something they were working on during practice this week.
There's a lot of air underneath. I think somebody coming across the middle or hitting that tight end over the middle.
That seems to be where they've had a lot of their success on the passes with the tight ends. They give it to Tommy Harmon, and Scott Stevens, number 77, was not fooled. He stood right there, held his ground, made the tackle.
Yeah, that was well played. I'm sure he's assigned draw or screen because he stayed on the line of scrimmage and he was waiting for it.
Coach Frasillo, as I said, is very high on Stevens, and the nose guard in a 52 is relegated to middle screen and draw, and he did a great job.
Punting for Donovan, Rob Mazza. It was a pretty good kick. It appeared that it was going out of bounds a lot sooner. It was a pretty good kick, and give the referee a lot of credit for getting out of the way.
Yeah, that's Sam Riello. It looked like Sam wanted to field it and run with it.
He had a lot of room up the sideline, too. That was a good kick. Apparently, when he first hit it, it looked like it was going straight out of bounds, but
it's very important for Lacey, I think, here to not to make a mistake and give Donovan an opportunity to score.
Lacey's defense has held Monsignor Donovan to 1 first down in this half.
They've certainly done the job. Now it's Donovan's turn to do the job on defense for their club because they have Lacey on their own 15 and they're trailing. Hand it off to Brett Deptula, who's played really well this afternoon.
They certainly have to get the ball back because right now with a little over 5 minutes to play, they need 2 scores to win.
That's what I say, Ron. If Lacey doesn't make a mistake here, the only way I can see it is if they make a mistake and Donovan gets a quick score.
2nd down, 9. Brian McKay. McKay met first by number 58 of the Griffins, Thomas Brown. Got some help, but McKay picked up a couple. Keeps that clock moving. 5:15 and counting. Donovan trailing 14-2.
Do you keep the ball on the ground here, or go for the first down by the pass?
I think you keep it on the ground. You can afford to punt it away and play defense the way your defense is playing.
Right.
I know Rourke's a good punter.
3rd down. Looks like 7 for Lacey. They give it to McKay. McKay, who runs wide, is hit very hard. And if anything, Lacey ran off about 1 minute minute and change on the clock as they're going to punt the ball now to Monsignor Donovan.
Two stops on the play by number 44, Brian O'Connor. That'll bring up a fourth down situation for the Lions. Back to punt for Lacey, is number 11, Tim O'Rourke. Back deep to number 24, Brian Vespella.
Lacey calls a timeout. That's their second. They have one remaining. I guess you want to make sure this is a situation where everyone knows what they're going to do. A turnover now would be very costly.
Well, you know, Monsignor Donovan's got to get the football, which means they're probably going to come with an all-out rush. George mentioned before they usually have three deep back in return formation. They've got two back, so likelihood is that they're going to come with a lot of people. Lacey wants to make sure they have their blocking assignments down so nobody makes a mistake and someone comes in and blocks a kick, which is the worst thing that can happen. Second worst thing is to punt the ball and have it returned for a touchdown. So they want to make sure they have their coverage down as well as their pass protection.
That happened to Lacey last week against Point Borough. Rex Simon, Panthers' outstanding all-around player, returned a punt, I believe 60 yards for a touchdown against Lacey.
Talking to Lou Versillo about the Borough game, he felt as though his offense and defense were in good shape. But again, it was those errors, which I don't think they've made in the second half. I think this second half might be the best half they've played the whole year.
Yeah, he has to be pleased with it, except for that one fumble after the reception when Lacey was driving, but Monsignor Donovan returned the favor with the interception, and Lacey capitalized on that. 4:18 left. To see Donovan has two men deep, Frank Conrad and Brian Ventrella.
What the Monsignor Donovan coaches are telling their boys now is make sure you don't hit the kicker and get a penalty.
Right. O'Rourke, the Lacey kicker. Conrad takes it at about the 45. Bounces off two would-be tacklers. And taken down by Jeff Yurkevich.
It's going to be a roughing the kicker penalty, Steve.
Yeah, there is a flag we were just talking about. There you have it, roughing the kicker.
If you touch the ball, you can hit the kicker. If you don't touch the ball and the ball is gone, you can't hit the kicker.
Did you see what happened on the play? Did you see O'Rourke he wasn't blocked into it or anything? It was legit.
No, he wasn't blocked into it.
Well, it's definitely something Donovan could not afford to do.
What do you think, George? If Lacey can get 3 first downs, they've got win number 2?
I would say so.
And you know, Lou Versillo was saying during the week, hey, don't count us out just because we're 1-2. They only have one loss in the conference. That's the Point Borough. They have a big game in the conference next week. They play Asbury Park. Ed Steptula once again. Brett Steptula playing a very good football game today for Lacey. He scored both of their touchdowns, which is double the offensive output touchdown-wise that Lacey has had for the season. Keep in mind that we will name a player of the game. He will be presented with a plaque at the conclusion of the ball game. Running again for Lacey, Steptula. They want to run down that clock. So it's third down for Lacey. And if things finish up the way they are right now, Brett Steptula will be our player of the game. He's handled the ball capably for Lou Versillo's Lions. He scored both touchdowns in close, but Tim O'Rourke has played a very good game. He helped set up that second touchdown by Steptula with the 23-yard scamper, which Steptula took in from the 1. 14-2, Lacey, third down, 6. And Steptula gets maybe a yard, 2:35 and counting. Fourth down for Lacey. Keep in mind that Monsignor Donovan has 2 timeouts remaining. Lacey has 1. but I really can't see Lacey using the timeout unless just to check inventory like they did before the last punt to make sure everything was correct. Donovan with the pressure. High kick comes down to Conrad. It bobbles it a bit at his 30. Good coverage by Lacey. Excellent coverage. 4-yard return.
That was probably the best hang time that he's had.
And there's another flag down. It's down on the far side of the line of scrimmage, closer to Donovan's sideline.
It's like 75.
TJ Glide, number 75, who was in on the tackle, a little slow in getting off the field, kind of wobbly. There he is. There's TJ.
It's like a sprained ankle, Steve.
And it looks like they're going to do this punt over here with 2:02 left in the ball game. Festive atmosphere right underneath the booth here. Lacey fans feel like they're going to post win number 2 this afternoon.
That was a first down with the penalty, so they still retain the football.
Penalty apparently was on Monsignor Donovan. That's twice. The Lions were faced with 4th down and had to punt both times. Donovan committed a penalty to give them more life, and I guess that latest one just salted this away unless Lacey turns the ball over. Another flag. O'Rourke throwing downfield. Incomplete.
Holding against Lacey.
First, there's a flag in the area in the backfield. There's another flag where O'Rourke threw the ball.
You're going to get pass interference down here, and you're going to get holding against Lacey there. One of the defensive linemen broke away from one of the offensive linemen for Lacey, and he kind of reached out and grabbed his shirt. On accident, of course.
Of course. Well, you had it right, George. Pass interference. Oh, pass interference on both sides, and it's
I'll stick to my gun, Steve. I saw holding.
How can you have a flag down in the backfield and have that as a pass interference
Well, I
flag?
think he just made a mistake and pointed the wrong way.
Well, as it turns out, they're offsetting penalties, so it's first down.
How you doing? How's things up there? How you doing? You know, celebrating there or what?
1:35 left in the ball game. Lacey leading 14-2. Brian McKay, wrapped up by Tommy Harmon. Gain of a yard. 1:20. The clock continues to run. O'Rourke to Brett Deptula. Deptula stays in bounds. Under a minute left in the football game. And Donovan calls a timeout. 55 seconds left. Well, the Lacey players feel the victory. They're celebrating, got the high fives going. But they have a tough ball game next week. Asbury Park just has some raw talent. They're a good football team. If there's a bright side for Donovan, it's not a conference defeat, so they'll remain, I believe, 1-1 in Class C. It seems everyone is 1-1 in Class C against except Pinelands. Team that you should know about, Ron.
They've got to contend with the Wildcats. Coach Casal, Coach Sheehan, and their staff down there, they have Wildcat Frenzy down in Tucker.
And Donovan meets Pinelands next week. They host the Wildcats.
Well, they've got a tough one today, though.
Yeah.
Pinelands plays Freehold Borough, who's always very, very tough.
It's nice to see Pinelands win some football games. So they've had their troubles.
Sure.
.55 seconds left in this football game. O'Rourke on third down, hands off to Brian McKay. And it's fourth down again for Lacey. Donovan extinguished any small hope they had left of winning this football game. A few plays back when they had Lacey on fourth down, had O'Rourke kicking from his own 5, and they roughed him, and then another fourth down situation, another penalty on a punt. And Donovan hasn't touched the football in, I guess, the last 4 minutes of this game.
No, Lacey's done what they've had to do, of course, with the help of a couple penalties, like you said. Hold the football, run the clock out.
See Coach Versillo's out with his team again. Coach Versillo's had 17 years of coaching. He was an assistant at Torquio for 2 years. He was at Red Bank Catholic for 3. Red Bank as an assistant and a head coach for 6 years. He's been at Lacey for 7 years. He's coached in, I'd say, about 4, maybe 5 of the Ocean County All-Star games. He's worked with the state game at Rutgers, and he's the Ocean County representative at the state level. And you know, he's very, very active football-wise, and he's always studying. He's a throwback to coaches and the hard work ethic.
With 41 seconds left to go in this football game, we're going to step aside. First down at the 29-yard line.
Well, while we were away, Steve-O, go ahead.
Yes, while we were away, thank you, George. On fourth down, it was a high snap from Scott Stevens. Tim O'Rourke retreated close to 30 yards, picked up the ball in a bounce, gave it a nice sidewinding kick. He could play indoor soccer with a kick like that. And got the ball down to the 43 of Donovan. Well, they'll have it, 31 seconds left. Mike Nagy, the quarterback, throwing to Tony Nessler, incomplete. 27 seconds left to go in the game.
Tim O'Rourke's a football player, not a soccer player. I guarantee you.
That's true.
I tell you, a mark of a good athlete is adjusting on the move. And you saw in the first half in the end zone when he tried to adjust and just kick that ball out of there. And what you just saw right now is really a knowledgeable kid, good athlete.
27 seconds. They
Pass
throw it
off
back
a
to
pass.
Tom Harmon. He can throw downfield. He's going for Conrad, and it is intercepted. Can't make out the numbers quite yet. 66, Jeff Yurkevich.
The old double pass. Usually you want to throw that ball deep, but I think Lacey was waiting for it. Monsignor Donovan was warming up before the ball game. They ran it.
I tell you,
You can see, yeah, he steps back, he throws the ball downfield, well covered.
I think it was intended for Frank Conrad, I believe.
I remember a similar play. I guess it was about 4 years ago. Ron Signorino was screaming on the sidelines when your team, Tom's River East, ran that play and had the big touchdown, and you beat Brick with that play. Ron, you should know a thing or two about plays like that too, don't you?
Yeah, we've done a few things like that. A little bit less lately than.
He's the master. Don't let him kid you. The old hook and ladder.
Frank Conrad, who was the intended receiver, appears to be, I believe that's Frank again. He had a problem before with a cramp on his leg. Yeah, I still remember Ron Signorino on the sideline. The kid's right in front of him. He's screaming, yelling. No one picked it up. And
yeah, he got a penalty for that because he went past the 30-yard line. As a matter of fact, he ran all the way into the end zone with our kid, and yeah, that was a great ball game.
Joe Scott was the quarterback of that club. Is he out of Princeton now?
Joe Scott is at the Notre Dame Law School now, Steve. He's a graduate assistant helping Digger Phelps with the basketball team. Pete Carroll, his college coach at Princeton, set that up for him. Joe's very happy.
Good athlete.
He was a great athlete. He was a great kid and a great student, and his brother Bobby is a graduate of William & Mary, a biochem major who's now at medical school in Chicago. So the Scotts had two fine sons, and both of them great athletes that played for us.
Yep.
I think that year when he was a junior, the 1981 season might have been the best football in the A South Division. Your team, Tom's River East, was outstanding. Came in second to Brick, and I think Southern was third that year, but all three teams were outstanding.
And time runs out here at Lacey High School as the Lions even their record at 2-2, beating Monsignor Donovan 14-2. And with the defeat, the Griffins will go home with their record also even at 2-2. We'll be back with the postgame to wrap things up here after these messages. And keep in mind that our player of the game is the Lacey running back, Brett Deptula. Once again, the final here at Lacey High School, the Lions beat Monsignor Donovan 14-2. And the thing that Lou Versillo, the Lacey coach, talked about during the week was execution. And I think he has to be pretty pleased with the way his team played today.
Oh, I think so. I think what he set out to do is what his team did, to play solid defense, to try to establish a ground game, passing off that ground game. And I think he got an outstanding game from Brett Deptula, our most valuable player, and Tim O'Rourke playing his second game of quarterback.
Tim O'Rourke, I thought, played a real heady game today.
Tim O'Rourke is the kind of a kid that we said it's going to hurt the opposing team one way or another. You saw it 3 or 4 times today. He tucked the ball away and ran. And I think Ron had a good point. You know, the momentum was there. It was up for grabs. And Lacey was the first one to take it and capitalize on some mistakes. And that led to the victory.
It was a solid second half for Lacey. I thought they really played well. And I thought they came at Monsignor Donovan right from the get-go, and I think that helped change things around.
Oh, they did. Offensively, of course, they scored their first possession in the second half. Defensively, as I mentioned, they held them to 1 first down right until the last minute or 2 of the ball game, which is a mark of a solid defense.
Now, both teams, as I said to start off the show, was going to figure out what kind of direction both of these clubs are heading in. For Lacey, I think it's very positive, and I think Donovan's going to have to come off this and still keep their heads up and keep going forward because they could still win Class C. This was a non-conference game.
Everything's relative. You know, it's who you play. Injuries, they all play a part. Football's a funny game. The ball takes funny bounces on you, and there are a lot of factors involved. But you have to keep going, keep working, improve yourself. You've got to mentally prepare and physically prepare for a game every week. So they've got to do that if they want to play good football.
The final, once again, from Lacey, 14-2. The Lions beat the Griffins from Monsignor Donovan. I'm Steve McCullum for Ron Emmert and George Jeck. Have a nice night. Don't forget to join us next week. We bring you the Civil War. Toms River North plays Toms River South. Ken Turp will be at that ball game next week, I believe, with Bob Stranja, too. And should be a good one. The Indians are playing some good football. So, the MVP, once again, Brett Deptula. The Lions win 14-2. I want to thank John Gardy, the Lacey AD here. He's hospitable, as he always is. And I want to thank the crew. They did a fine job today. So we'll see you next week. Good evening, everybody.